far, John is all right, with plenty of company. Because of the ALS, his hands are unable to grab water bottles, and that forces him to use a tank and a long straw to hydrate. His story takes your mind in a million directions, but today, he has only one. John Blaze's dream of beating ALS in just this day is alive. He's made it in time to the relief of a rejuvenated mom and dad. John Blaze and everybody else, still going after starting at 7 a.m. Do you believe in fate? Well, today, John's fate is to make it to the line.
Understand that this is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. Your life. Face your fears and live your dreams. Take it all in. Yes, every chance you get. Come close. And by all means, whatever you do, get it on film.
John Blaze, you are an Ironman. And we do have it on film. Mia Richter came to the line and did something that reminded us of someone. His name is John Blaze, and 2 years ago he came here with ALS and said he would finish on his own or they would have to roll him across. He rolled himself across, but an evil clock was ticking, and by this time last year he couldn't even walk. He had come to say goodbye.
I mean, the fact that I did the race last year, here I am sitting now in a wheelchair like I predicted. Next year I won't be sitting in front of any cameras, I'll be gone.
On May 27th, John Blaze died from ALS. Our hope is that one researcher, somewhere, is inspired by John to find an answer, and Lou Gehrig's disease becomes the John Blaze cure. That's why what happens at the finish happens. John Blaze's parents are there to hug Mia Richter, to thank her for keeping the spirit of John alive. They know that what their son did in this very place was the bravest thing a man can do.
Thank you very much. A couple of things we wanted to do in regards to this. Number one is, through everybody's efforts with this race, we have raised over $37,000. We'll give everybody In addition to that, what we're planning on doing is extending our partnership with the Blazeman Foundation. And we're going to be in it until there's a cure. I just want to share a very quick story in regards to how this started and how Wilbur and I partnered with Marianne and Bob. I was about 40 pounds heavier at one life, and I know you can't tell because I look pretty good. But in any event, I decided going to Kona to watch my best friend race that, you know what, I'm going to do Ironman Germany and I'm going to do a cause. And when I landed in Kona, I didn't know Marianne and Bob that were going to be there, but I decided, because I had watched so many times the Bob Blaze video on YouTube, or excuse me, Blazeman video on YouTube before a race to motivate me. And I kind of felt selfish about it. So I decided when I would get back to Miami, I was going to give them a call and say, I want to help, I want to raise some funds. Well, long story short, after a couple of drinks, walked in Mary and Bob on Alihi Drive, and I thought it was manifest destiny. So I walked up and I introduced myself and said, I'd like to help raise money for you for Germany. And we spoke. And then I sat down and Wilbur was sitting there and said, well, he said, I recognize that. Who are they again? And I explained to him, and Wilbur looked at me and said, you know what? They're going to be our official cause for Ironman Miami. And with that being said, between Germany and Miami, we collectively have raised a little over $60,000 for Ironman. It's been an amazing process, and we're very proud. They're amazing. They're very special people, and it's a ground roots organization. We couldn't be any more prouder to be associated with such fine people, and more importantly, carrying on John Blaze's legacy, which is just an amazing legacy. His story resonates with people. It's so real. A couple of things that I would share with you beyond the money. Actually, one thing is typically in a WTC race, World Triathlon Corporation race, they reserve a race number 179 for an athlete who asks for it. Since this is the inaugural Ironman Miami 7.3 race, what we elected to do was to withdraw that number from any racer in order to provide that number in honor of John. And we're going to present that now to Marianne and Bob. What we want to do is just let Bob and Marianne say just a couple of words to everybody before we dive into our meal. So if we can just have a moment, and Bob.
Hey.
I just want to say thank you because I know I'll cry, and I'm going to hand it over to my husband who does a much better job at this than I ever could, but thank you so much.
First of all, let me just thank everyone that's associated with the Miami 7.3. Wilbur, Alan, John Marshall, who's, I believe, in Hawaii. We could not believe that this is an inaugural event. It's also an inaugural